Welcome to episode 20. That's right, episode 20 of Rewind Heroes. I'm your co-host, Greg Compton.
And I'm your other co-host, Dan Gaines. You already know what we're going to talk about. Movies, music, television, everything that Greg and I find cool.
All that stuff. And so how you been? It's been a week since the show.
You know, Greg, I'm glad you asked. I'm doing well. I'm excited. We've got a lot of really good stuff. We've been watching a lot of really good stuff. It's just a good time to be a nerd.
It is. You know what? I finished Preacher.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so I stuck with it. It's got some really corny stuff, some really good stuff. I think it had some good payoffs. For my sense of humor, I was all about it. And
nice.
Then Vice Principals, you've been
we've
catching
both
up?
been checking out. That show's wrong on so many levels, but great on so many more.
If you don't get offended easily, it is beautiful.
Yes.
And my wife, as a teacher, is like, there's no way you could ever say any of those things to kids. But wow. So yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Well, I think, we got some news that we're going to cover, and then I think we've got surprise what most of this episode is going to be about. So let's first get in the newsreel, don't you think?
Let's do it.
Newsreel.
So Greg, up first, we just got our full trailer for Netflix's newest Defender, Luke Cage. What'd you think of the trailer?
We got the teaser trailer earlier that sort of set the tone, but this looks really cool, and he's very much the reluctant superhero. There's not a lot to say about this because we've already kind of talked about it. We just kind of wanted to let you know that the trailer is out there, it's extended. It's definitely got a different feel from the other, but then so did Jessica Jones. Had a very different feel from Daredevil, and yet they all kind of fit together. There's a grittiness that links all of them, kind of broken heroes. I think it's great, and there's some humor that I didn't expect.
I thought the same thing. Like when he's in the bar and he said, "I don't like your tone," and the fact that the trailer, we got a little bit of that in the teaser, but I don't think we've seen a superhero come into a building with a car door and just kick everybody's ass that way.
It was kind of better than a Hulk moment. I mean, there's something like you're sitting there reading the paper. I heard 2 people got taken out.
Yeah,
I heard it was closer to 4 or 5, and that smile, and that's kind of what you want from this character because he seemed like such a tortured character in Jessica Jones. So yeah, but I like that character, and I think I don't really look.
I did too, and in fact, I don't know much about Luke Cage himself, but the villain also seems like he's going to be a really good character as well. I love that shot where he's sitting there and talking about a king, and you see the picture behind him with the crown.
Oh, it's going to be pretty solid. And speaking of trailers, again, it wouldn't be one unless Dan talked about Star Wars.
Everybody's talking about this, Greg.
That's right. This is a pretty good one. Rogue One, the full trailer, we got that in the Olympics. It was funny, one of my friends.
Hang on. I got to back you up. You can't just set it up like that. We finally got the theatrical trailer for Rogue One last week.
Yes, I say that though because we'd already seen a teaser. So you already had it, tasted it. But it is funny. One of my friends texted me, or didn't text me, he put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where the hell is my Rogue One trailer? And 30 seconds after that popped up, boom, the trailer. So I guess ask, can you show receipts?
That's hysterical.
What did you think?
I thought it looked horrible. I'm never going to see the movie. I'm just kidding. So when this trailer dropped, I was actually out of town. I was out at a bar. And I knew it was going to happen, and I knew I had to see it, right? So it pops up, I can't hear, and I'm definitely not going to watch it without sound. So I literally just put my head down, and I thought, I'm going to watch this later, I'm going to close myself off. So when I sat down to watch this thing, there's so many things I could cover, and I know we're not going to for time's sake, but let's start with the music, which kind of goes in theme with today. The music sets the tone for this trailer so well.
Oh, yeah.
And just the shots we got with the Death Star, and of course we get our first tease of Darth Vader. Just enough. It's exactly what I wanted.
Very much a tease, yeah.
I just wanted that, though. We don't need any more. And we got a little bit more of the plot. We get to hear a little more dialogue. It is absolutely stunning the way it's shot. I think Gareth Edwards has done a great job of capturing the feel of the original film. And December cannot get here soon enough.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, there's a few things I'm going to hold a reservation up for.
Okay.
I don't know, and again, it's a trailer.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'm going to be sold on the droid, because I was hearing that the droid was supposed to have the sarcasm and all that.
Yes.
Some of those scenes, I'm like, that might work. The I won't kill you lie to her, I'm like...
Because he's an Imperial droid that they've captured.
I have faith that it will all work. But that was the one thing I'm like, okay, that's a little interesting.
I will say Alan Tudyk from, Firefly, is playing him.
So that's why I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I wasn't a huge fan of Forest Whitaker's accent in this.
Really? Okay.
But again, that's such a minor thing. I'm just trying to, because I'm excited. It looked great, so I'm just trying to parse out a few things that I'm keep expectations.
No, I'm with you.
the tease on Darth Vader was just enough, but what I want to see is how he moves. Because you had the no moment, but other than that, you've only had one person truly in the Vader costume.
Right.
And I'm curious if they get that iconic, the head turns and moves. I just want to see, I'm sure they did. It's just a curiosity. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait. I hope we get to see him in action and actually kick some ass.
And I like seeing someone that's not a Jedi talking about the Force, because we always just think the Force is the hokey religion, whatever it is. It's a thing. They take it for granted. It's something that works.
Yep.
All of a sudden, here's a group, someone that is not a Jedi from what we've heard. You almost heard it was like a religious character. So you start wondering, does it mean, there's a Force, maybe it has, he calls it the Force, maybe it's something that other people even give different names, and it's almost, is Jedi like a denomination? Almost like in today's religions,
the planet that they're on, and you're talking about Donnie Yen's character there, that planet is named Jeddah. And so you got to wonder, is that going to be the planet that Jedi were first formed?
Might be.
So Jedi are natives of Jeddah.
Because it makes you wonder.
Which kind of makes sense.
And to me, that's kind of a cool thing, because you think maybe people have different beliefs in the Force.
Kind of what
just
I'm
like
thinking.
you had Roman Catholicism turns into all these, you get spin-offs, Luther, Presbyterian. That would be very cool, because maybe they have different takes on it. Maybe there's different ways they can access the Force that other people don't.
Yeah, because you can be studying the religion, but you may not be an actual
Because
Jedi.
Jedi and Sith are really almost two denominations of one greater entity. So I don't know.
So I think that could be a really interesting take on the whole thing.
Yeah, there's cool stuff to dive into on that. Yeah. I think that's great. And like you said, the music, John Williams isn't doing it, but right, he's not on this one.
No, it's Alexandre Desplat, and I'm not sure what. I'm honestly not familiar with his work.
So really what he took was a theme and they kind of slowed it down, twisted it, much like Cloverfield Lane twisted I Think I Think I'm Alone Now, or We're Alone Now song for their trailer, and it worked beautifully. Works here, so I am curious to hear how that is. But speaking of John Williams, there was news about him. Go ahead.
Yeah. I will go ahead. So kind of playing off the Star Wars, Episode 8, we're still, about a year and a half away. So John Williams was already approached by Rian Johnson with a rough cut here in the next few weeks. From what it sounds like, he's already going to begin preliminary work on creating the score for Episode 8, which is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to go ahead and touch on kind of what brought him back? I mean, why he's already doing this now and why he's so excited to continue working on
Rumor
this.
is he liked Daisy Ridley's portrayal of Rey so much he doesn't want any other composer scoring her pieces.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I think that's
cool.
great. So, he's going to be seeing this cut. He's going to start scoring this. Hopefully, maybe he'll be around kicking and ready to do it for the third one. I would love that. I mean, seriously.
I want him to get through this next trilogy.
Yeah, I would love that.
We need John Williams. I'm cool with these spin-offs having to do composers and trying a new spin on it. But there's something about having him in these saga films.
I agree. And so that will also bring us into what the whole show is about. But before that, there's something that we forgot to mention that I think we should. We didn't even mention it on this stuff. We put it on our page, but the actor who portrayed R2-D2 did pass away this week, and I felt we really need to mention that because
I'm glad you thought of that.
That is a huge part of our childhood and
100%.
Greatly missed. So Mr. Baker, rest in peace. You will always be our R2-D2.
100%.
So we had to mention that. But in all these things, Star Wars, like you're right, we're talking about John Williams is coming back. And that just brings up, we were talking earlier, music.
Yep.
Music is huge in films, and I think it makes films. So we're going to take the rest of this episode to go into the rewind and kind of settle the score as to what our favorite scores are. There are way more than we can mention, but we're going to nail down about 12 and some honorable mentions. Should we go ahead and get to it?
Let's go.
Let's go to the score. All right, so Dan, I'm obviously the big music nut. I mean, I play music, I play in a band, I love doing that, I've loved music all my life. So scores are always a huge thing for me. I used to collect them really a whole bunch. So we decided, let's go through and get top 12, probably just from a handful of musicians. We'll discuss why later, but let's probably most of these are on both of our lists, but we'll just kick it off. What would be the first one you'd mention?
Yeah, so you're a music nut and I'm just nuts. So my favorite, it's going to really shock everybody, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
The original trilogy, John Williams' masterful work has struck a chord with so many people throughout the world, and I can't imagine starting this list without mentioning that music.
Yeah, if the score had been subpar for the first film. I don't think. I think that sold most of that.
Well, 100%, because the music in those films are every bit as much of a character as Luke Skywalker, as the Millennium Falcon, as the planets, the Death Star. You can't have Star Wars without those main themes.
The character of the music is better than the character of Jar Jar. I will say, to me, it's mostly the original trilogy. I love The Force Awakens. There are bits of the prequels I like, but I feel like it was retreaded. The Duel of the Fates is phenomenal.
I love the Duel of the Fates.
But that was really the only standout I saw in the prequels with the music. But yeah, I think that's huge. It's a character. And honestly, using the Fox fanfare almost became part of the Star Wars
100% did. It was weird this
it's been
past
around for a
December when we got Disney starting and you didn't have it. It felt like, wait, did we accidentally skip something?
It is the first thing you hear when you buy. I don't know about when you can buy the individual 2 discs of each album, but like when I have the box set, and that's the first track on it.
Yep.
Is a Fox fanfare. So we will get through these pretty quick, but I'll give you another one that is also John Williams.
Yep.
He's going to be on here a lot, but he's iconic. It's the Raiders of the Lost Ark soundtrack, which to that end could be any of the Indiana Jones films. Last Crusade would also be on there. Is phenomenal. One of the few bright spots of the fourth film. Crystal Skull would even be some of the tracks had some really cool reworkings of things. But yeah, iconic themes. Marion's theme. It's just so good.
Well, and it's one of those things that this whole list that we're going to go through, anytime we name one of these soundtracks, the moment someone hears these main themes, you immediately know what movie you're watching. I mean, to me, that's the best compliment you can give these things.
Oh, exactly. So maybe another John Williams?
Right in line with John Williams, Jaws. To me, two chords that as soon as you're in the water and that you hear that music, you don't have to see anything. And it's funny when you hear about the process that went into making that film. Without John Williams' music, I don't think that movie's as terrifying as it ended up turning out, because that build-up and oh my God, what's in this water, it's phenomenal.
Now, and I need to go back and listen to the whole score, because I know the theme. I haven't, other than the film, I never have listened to the entire score of
and
that.
See, and I dig the whole thing.
That's great, because people think it's just 2 chords. And you can tell during the movie it's much more than that, but yeah. Now let's jump off the John Williams for just a little bit. Pirates of the Caribbean theme. Again, something that I think, along with Johnny Depp, is what made that film franchise.
I agree.
The first one is actually credited to Klaus Baldel, I think is how you say his name. I could be wrong on that. With help of Hans Zimmer. I think there's rumor who really wrote the majority of it. So you wonder, like, those themes, like who really came up with the bulk of it. I think it's kind of under dispute. Hans Zimmer took over and did all the others. But Pirates, oh my gosh, that theme is phenomenal. Stranger Tides is even great. People complain about it. I think they brought in Rodrigo and Gabriela, 2 amazing classical guitarists. Listen to any of their stuff. 11:11 is a great album. Brought them in. Some people thought, it's not, or at least reviews I saw on iTunes, it's lazy, it's not as orchestrated. They just went with guitar on a lot of it, but it worked for where they were in South American stuff. So that was great. Dan?
I'm just going to go ahead and reel us back in.
Go.
Let's get back to John Williams.
Yes.
Jurassic Park. This is probably one of the movies as a kid, probably maybe showing my age a little bit compared to us, but it's probably one of the first movies I really had that memory of sitting in a theater, and that music, it's right behind Star Wars for me as far as just remembering a theme and that feeling it gives you of you're starting an adventure. I mean, and it's not just the main theme; it's music throughout the film, but that main theme really to this day resonates with me.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's funny. It shows your age because that's when you were a kid. One of the first memories of a movie, and I was in high school. So, now another one that I'm going with. We mentioned Hans Zimmer. This one was all Hans Zimmer. Gladiator. That movie is on my top 10. It just really resonates with me. That theme, the whole soundtrack is just amazing. It's subdued enough. You can study, you can do whatever with it. But man, like the fight sequences, the music in there when he's coming into Rome, it's so good.
It is.
And the end, if you have a dry eye watching that film in a theater, after that end with the music, you are heartless. You're one heartless person. But let's get back to some more adventure.
I was going to say, my list, I feel like, is very consistent in that front. That I like these fun movies.
Mr. 80s.
I really do. And it's funny when we put a few episodes, it's been a few episodes back when we created our list of all-time favorite movies. The list probably is very similar because of the music.
Oh, yeah.
And Back to the Future is that for me. Alan, I'm going to say Silvestri. Oh my gosh! And it's funny because there's other reasons that I can think of this music. As a kid going to Universal Studios and you go ride the Back to the Future ride and you're waiting and that music's blaring and you can't help but get excited. And for me, that's what all this music does. It really pulls you in and makes you feel like you're part of the story.
Oh yeah, I do remember at a high school party, staying outside waiting. Some friends were coming, and we're waiting because we're going to go to this haunted house. And one of my friends, it's totally out of character for him, pulls his car, squealing the tires around the corner, blasting that theme song out the window, screaming for Doc. And it was the greatest moment.
That's excellent.
That was pretty good. And that one too, Huey Lewis in the News. That's not score, it's music, but Back in Time.
Great.
That soundtrack's a great mix. That is so good. Under the Sea Dance. Let me just say. On that, I'm going to go a little further back.
Okay.
We've done 70s, 80s, we've done 90s. I'm going with some of the original James Bond scores by John Barry. I can't really pick one, but he kind of did a lot of the ones with Sean Connery. So, check out the Dr. No, which has the original theme. From Russia with Love is a beautiful score. Goldfinger's got a lot of the brassy horns, and then Thunderball. So, you listen to those, you get the 007 theme, which is different than the James Bond theme. Equally an awesome song. These get regurgitated in different forms in older Bond films. And then, with the more recent stuff, you get a lot of the techno-y things, which is the problem with so many of these scores anymore. There's not memorable stuff.
Well, I mean, look at our list. I mean, you don't...
There's a reason we use these people, because they do classical...
100%.
It harkens to classical music. So anyway, check out some of these old classic Bond themes. So good.
So then I'll go ahead and continue my John Williams greatest
go ahead.
hits. Because why break a good thing? E.T.
Yes.
Come on, that movie has everything. The emotion, the creepiness in certain scenes, and the sadness, the excitement, just like we talked about with Back to the Future, the wonder of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
The score has everything. It is filled with emotion, and so is the movie. And it's amazing to me how Spielberg, because I think he's done just about every film except his last.
Yeah.
It's amazing how John Williams captures the emotion and truly just tells a story.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great. And you want to talk about showing age. That's the first film that I kind of remember in a theater, and I was only 3, but I do have memories of that, freaking out when the white men go to take the dead E.T., and he comes back and he leaves, and I freaked out. But I loved Reese's Pieces, and what can you say? So it was good.
Best product placement ever.
Oh, and the bike rides when they're flying, that theme of all, I think that's the most memorable of that film theme.
Yeah.
And I just recently showed my kids that movie last winter, and
they loved it.
Yeah, I think I had to play it 6 times in a row the first day. I mean, we were snowed in, kind of. And that's all he wanted to watch was E.T., and his younger brother was all about it, too. So that was a great one.
Yep.
So let's jump to a different composer. You think we can do that?
And we're kind of
in the same
going a little bit of an era change here, aren't we?
A little bit, yeah.
It's not quite as old.
I'm going with Howard Shore, Lord of the Rings. I say Lord of the Rings, you could really go with any of the trilogy. And I would even say the Hobbit films, the last one was the weakest musically. It's just really dark. Though the first Hobbit was as inspiring, I thought, as the first Lord of the Rings itself, Fellowship.
Okay.
Great music, has that feel of a John Williams, has that feel that you could go to an orchestra and listen to them perform this music, which they've done. You don't get, Born Identity music performed. You don't get Clear and Present Danger music performed. You don't. But these kind of things you do. It's just on a grand scale, I guess is what you would say. A lot of vocals on this too, just choral vocal stuff, just really dramatic. So I think that's a phenomenal one. Let's go with another different composer.
Yes, so this guy's probably the one that's one of the hot and upcoming names, and that's Michael Giacchino. He is doing a lot. He did Jurassic World, but the one that I'm really wanting to highlight is Star Trek. Those main themes he created for that are phenomenal. I actually just saw, I guess a week or so ago, the new Star Trek Beyond. Though he didn't score it, we have a lot of his main themes in there, and this music, even though I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, I'm telling you, it did a great job of making a new theme that we all love, and you're in a new adventure.
And he reworked the original theme too on the first one, so that's a good one too, to make it current, and it was great.
And I'm gonna guess that once John Williams does hang it up, we're gonna get a score in a Star Wars film by this guy. I think he's kind of taken that path of a John Williams, and it wouldn't shock me with all the films in the works that he's going to score one of these
Well,
things.
John Williams is the music man for Spielberg.
Yep.
Right? And so, how do you say his last name again?
Giacchino.
Giacchino. It's one of those you read and I see it and I can spell it, but it's Giacchino. He is that guy for J.J. Abrams. So, I mean,
100%.
Super 8 and all these others he has done as well.
Yep.
So he is the guy. So speaking on the last one, I'd say Tim Burton has a guy. Tim Burton's got a guy.
He does.
The same thing he does with actors and actresses too. But Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman has had a prolific career. I know you aren't as big into his stuff as I am, and it can be hit and miss, but it has a feel, has a sound.
Oh, yeah.
The original Batman, 1989 Batman, not 1966, 1989 Batman, wow. That score really set the tone for superhero themes, I think.
Well, and wouldn't you even argue that we don't get those kind of themes, even with all these, we've got tons of superhero films coming out all the time, but you don't have that theme like that. I mean, that theme is iconic.
What was the last great Marvel theme you could recall?
That's what I'm saying. You don't
Maybe
have it.
Spider-Man, early 2000s?
Maybe.
Guess who did that one?
Danny
Elfman. That, at least the initial theme was really,
Yeah.
and he went with the orchestral sound. Honestly, I mean, I listen to the Civil War soundtracks. I don't own any of them because it is a lot of that industrial background chase music.
Yep.
But you can do it in this way and make it memorable. And Danny Elfman did that, and he started with Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
That's right.
I mean, he got the job of that. If you're curious, check out Oingo Boingo. This is this guy's 80s band. If you've heard the song Dead Man's Party, if you've heard Weird Science or seen the movie, this guy did those
You ever
songs.
watched
He's
the
the
show
lead singer.
called The Simpsons?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, he was a rock guy, and then he started scoring, did this one or two for Tim Burton, kept on with it, and Simpsons, everything else.
I mean, he's been in a lot of things.
He's done a lot of good stuff. So, I mean, that kind of is our breakdown of the 12. We've mentioned others, and there's so many more. Harry Potter themes are phenomenal. That's great.
Most recently on Netflix, Stranger Things that we love, that music was phenomenal.
It's now available. It's obviously that's a little more droning when you really listen to it without the show.
Yeah.
But it harkens to a feel, and it's available, so you can check that out. And I think Volume 2 is coming out soon, and then they're going to be out as physical releases.
Awesome.
So there's a ton of music.
Yep.
We actually put on our Spotify page to find Rewind Heroes. We've got to make that easier to find on Spotify. But when you do, if you can find it, we've got a playlist that kind of just takes maybe one song from each of these to put it on there so you can just get a nice mishmash. It's pretty cool. Try not to speed when you're driving if you're listening to it, because, I mean, the Back to the Future, some of these things. And maybe we'll add some more to it, but it's just a nice touch for it. So music, man.
Yeah.
Music makes
Yeah.
movies.
No, absolutely.
Ever since those talkies came around. So, all right. Well, I think that pretty much is a pretty decent-sized episode. I don't think we need to give you recommendations because we just kind of did.
Just go check out the Spotify and listen to these music.
Listen to it. So, where can they find you on the old interwebs?
Yeah, so, we're all over social media, so please check us out on Instagram and Twitter, Rewind Heroes. But then also check out our Facebook page. We've been posting some stuff there. But you can follow me simply at Dan Gaines. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Greg, where can I find you?
Check me out at gcompton007 on Twitter. And go listen to some music. Listen to some scores. Check it out.
Yep.
But yeah, until next time, I'd say be kind.
And please, rewind.